Five Star Gang, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. Appreciate everyone in here. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers kind of giving us that little clip he gave us on the Pat McAfee show. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the two-time Pro Bowler, Haason Reddick. Is there a chance there that we get a reunite? I don't know. We'll talk more about that. Then I'm going to talk about some issues going on within Carolina Panthers training camp that I'm seeing. And it's also kind of just alluded back to the week 1 preseason game as well. And then also I'm going to give you some observations of yesterday's training camp. And then, of course, who's going to be that top dog in the Carolina Panthers wide receiver room? I think we all have the good idea, general idea, but I want to break it down for you today. So, of course, don't forget to smash that like button. We have a live goal of 50 likes. That is every single live stream. 50 likes. It's free. It's all it is a thumbs up. You hit it 50 times. All right. So whether you're watching on Twitter, whether you're watching on Twitch, whether you're watching on Instagram, whether you're watching on Facebook, wherever you may be, wherever you're watching, wherever you are from, okay, smash that like button, okay? And if you're watching from a different platform, the best way you can show your support is, of course, supporting where I'm at on that platform, but also the biggest and the best way you can help support me and my channel is coming over to the YouTube channel and smashing that like button and the subscribe button. It's for free. And it works wonders. So I would greatly appreciate that from you guys. All right. All right. So let's get right into it. First things first, I got to give a shout out to BetUS, our sponsorship of today's live stream. You sign up for free today. You get 3 bets worth up to 125% bonus on your first 3 bets. So each time you bet, those first 3 times, they will match 125% of those first 3 bets. So if you're a betting degenerate like myself and you're betting on some preseason games, use BetUS. All right. Do me a favor. Go over there. Check out BetUS. The link is in the description of this live stream. So go check it out. All right. Without further ado, I need to introduce to you some of you guys that maybe you don't know, Roundtable Sports.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports. Real coverage from real fans.
So obviously you better tune in tonight, 7 p.m. EST, NFC South Roundtable. I will be on there today, chatting it up with these guys. So I will be back on there again today. This time I won't be in my hotel room, speaking about it. We'll actually have, we'll actually have a decent background, you know what I mean? So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We've got over 16 people on YouTube, 14 people watching on Twitter. Again, live goal today, guys. A live goal for me is 50 likes. Please just smash that like button. That's all I ask. All right. All right, let's get right into it. Actually, hold on. I was traveling for work, Mad Chatter. I was traveling for work. All right, let's get into it. All right, so first things first, let's talk about this whole thing. All right, if you haven't seen the clip yet, I'll pull up the clip. I really want to talk about this because this is how I started my morning off, and I saw this clip, and I was like, this is an interesting topic to talk about on Twitter. So let me pull up the clip here real quick. Even though I made a wonderful presentation for you guys today. Share this instead real quick. All right, let's tune in on to this clip here.
But I think they have a quarterback for the future. They definitely have a pass rusher of the future, but they're a young team. They're a really young team. There's going to be some growing pains for all those guys. I mean, maybe not Stroud. I mean, he said it's pretty smooth sailing so far, but there's always going to be growing pains in the first year. This is a real knee-jerk reaction league and media and fan base, though. So I hope that staff sticks around, because I think it's a really well put together staff on both sides of the ball. And I hope they just have some patience, because I think they got some pieces, but they obviously need a few more pieces in order to compete and be relevant.
I don't think that owner has ever been patient in his life, but maybe in this particular case he will be, because he's seen what massive moves have happened.
But I think they have a quarterback for the future.
It's interesting that they brought that up, right? Like, obviously bringing that clip to life there a little bit. But, as for us Carolina Panthers fans, I think sometimes we need to take a breather, right? And especially with this grueling training camp schedule going on, we've got some, heavyweight preseason action coming up. And I think sometimes we as Panthers fans just need to take a breather. I think we see Panthers Twitter is so toxic. It's unbelievable how toxic it is. And I think that's another thing that people just need to learn how to stay away from. I try to stay away from it. But it's hard, right? Because we get all of our, if you're not at training camp, as a Panthers fan, you're getting it all from Twitter. So, we got the New York Jets coming up. We got another joint practice with them. We got the preseason game Saturday night. We're still in this process of rebuilding, right? That's what we're in, right? The Jets are already in the thick of this, thick of it too. And they've obviously got Aaron Rodgers coming back off of that the Achilles injury. But on offense, this Jets team is a mix of underrated skill players and a formidable offensive line. I think their offensive line is very good the Jets. The defense is definitely the powerhouse there. Might be, again, now we're going to be talking about one of the cats that I thought was going to be obviously part of that defense, but he might not be now. But they're just I think the Jets, even without Haason Reddick, are a well-rounded team. And they're a far cry from what position we are in, right? When I listen to that clip about what Aaron Rodgers says, right? The path to contention involves a lot of critical ingredients based off of what kind of like Rodgers was saying, right? The development of Bryce Young. But Rodgers has not been shy about offering his insights, because last year, obviously he made that appearance, and you can see the date up in the left-hand corner. That was back in October of last year, right? Obviously shared some advice and recommendation to us Panthers fans, basically saying that we need to have patience, right? And Rodgers has had his share of missteps in recent years, right? And let's face it, he's been hilariously wrong about quite a few things. But on this front, I felt like his wisdom was pretty spot on, right? The best part about this is we need to exercise patience for Bryce Young's growth. Like, as much as I'm like trying to be patient, because it is very hard, because we're tired of losing, right? We're tired of losing. We're tired of being the laughing stock of the league. We're tired of being the laughing stock of the NFC South. I get all that, but Bryce will need time to acclimate to not only this new coaching staff, this offensive line, the new wide receivers, the new, obviously the new coaching style of Canales. And basically it seems like he's probably going to have to adjust to the speed and the complexity of the whole NFL game, it seems like, because rushing his development is just going to do more harm than good, right? Here's the grand scheme of things, though, guys. We have, as Panthers fans, have little choice but to have patience, right? Because we're embarking on basically this whole long journey of development of this quarterback, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? But I thought the advice that Rodgers gave here was just interesting to me to go back and kind of hear his perspective, because coming from a guy like that definitely says a lot. He obviously believes in Bryce, maybe more than most, but it is what it is. But again, that's why we got the poll question up on the channel today. It's like, so, how much patience should Panther fans have for Bryce Young's development, right? A lot. He's the future. Some he needs to grow. Very little results now, and then or none time to find a new quarterback. And I would vote some. He needs time to grow. Like, part of me is like, yes, like he does need time to grow, but he also needs to show more flashes than none, right? Like, we need to see more, right? We need to see that deep ball accuracy. We need to see him step into those throws. We need to see him with better footwork in the pocket. We need to see him make better, quicker decisions, right? Better reads, reading the defenses, being at the line, calling the audibles when need to be, right? We need to see those things, right? So that is where all this is coming into, right? So again, Bryce is going to be basically, Panthers are going to be under a microscope on Thursday. Exactly right, Marcos. You come back with a member for 4 months. Shout out to Marcos Cash with that membership right there. That is my guy right there. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. I really appreciate that a lot.
Bing bong, bing. Another one.
Can we get another one?
Another one.
Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. Because I'm a stud.
And his name is John C.
I'm just throwing them all at Marcos Cash there. Throwing all the soundboards at Marcos Cash right there. So I appreciate you, Marcos. Appreciate that, man. I really do. I really, really do. We've got over 32 people watching on X or Twitter. Do y'all call it X? Like, do most of you guys in here call it X? Do you call it Twitter? I'm kind of curious. Do y'all call it X or Twitter? Got 53 total people watching, 32 on Twitter, 21 on YouTube. Appreciate everyone on here. I call it Twitter. I don't call it X anymore. I just don't. Match out of that. JJ McCarthy out for the year. Torn meniscus came out today. Unfortunate news for Vikings fans. So it looks like they're going to have to rock with Sam Darnold the rest of the year. Torn meniscus. Going to have he started. I think he had to have surgery today. Will be out for the rest of the year. That's unfortunate news. Matt Chatter, you also said somebody Steelers get Ayuk. I don't know about that. I saw the 49ers get Robbie Anderson or Robbie Chosen. He changed his name. I forgot. All right, let's move on. Haason Reddick. Could he be coming to the Panthers, right? This is basically a twist worthy of a soap opera for the whole Haason Reddick thing here. Haason Reddick's time in New York is over really before it even began, folks. Like, I mean, the two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher who was traded to the Jets from the Philadelphia Eagles, basically for a conditional 2026 third-round pick, is already asked to be moved elsewhere. Okay. Now, this guy's also fresh off a great year, had 11 sacks last year, got his second Pro Bowl appearance, final year of his contract, craving that extension, right? Then the Eagles opt to ship him to the Jets instead of negotiating a new deal, right? Despite initially expressing his willingness to play for New York and try to get that extension. He wants to be out. Now he wants a new deal, new destination, all within this time period. So the timing of this whole thing, that's the crazy part. The timing of this trade request couldn't be at the worst time, especially for his value, I think. I think with the Jets facing who had this uphill battle to find a suitor willing to fork over a conditional third-round pick for a player who may not even practice without a new contract, Reddick's request could tank his value, his trade value. That's the thing. Because the situation might attract teams looking for a boost in their pass rush, right? Without giving too much draft capital. Because you think about it this way, the Jets claimed him. They have no intention of trading him, right? So the pressure now mounts to them making a deal work, particularly to avoid sending him to an AFC contender or whoever else. But think about it this way. Could Haason Reddick come back to the Carolina Panthers? Could we expect him to make a showing? All right. And I want to be clear on this because I feel like maybe some of you aren't too sure about this and probably don't agree with it, whatever the case may be. But we're obviously expected to show significant improvement, hopefully in 2024, right? That's what we're hoping to see this year compared to last year, right? With this whole squad, right? Now, Haason Reddick would be a perfect fit on this defense. I truly believe that. Although we've spent most of our money on the offense, right? Surrounding Bryce Young with pass catchers, improve the blocking, right? But the defense still needs some game changers. Now, obviously recently, which we'll talk more about that here shortly, the defense had the offense running yesterday, which we'll talk more about that after practice. And it was a short practice because the offense was absolutely atrocious yesterday at Carolina Panthers training camp. So really, the defense is good, and I think that's more on Evero's coaching, but I and that coaching staff too, of course, alongside Evero. But we still need a game changer, right? I mean, you lose Luvu, you lose Burns, you lose guys like that. Even though I wasn't high on Burns as much as others, I felt like Luvu and Derek Brown were both the heart and soul in that defense. I felt Luvu was better than Burns, and I think Derek Brown's a better player than Burns, and I still feel that way. But Burns isn't terrible, but he's not an elite pass rusher, in my opinion. I think he fits top 10. He doesn't make top 5 for me. Maybe top 12, right? If we give him there. But you got J.C. Horn, who's starting to feel healthy. He's changed up this routine. He's being a standout as of right now, who's been this promising corner since we drafted him. Now the biggest issue with him is being healthy, right? Jadeveon Clowney's coming off a standout season there in Baltimore, 9.5 sacks. But to elevate our defense to that next level, right, we need a genuine bona fide stud, right? Reddick, to me, fits that bill perfectly. I think he's better than Brian Burns myself. So, it would be an upgrade technically, whether y'all believe that or not. But you look at this Panthers offense, you already got Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, you got Xavier Legette, all that shaping up nicely. Hopefully relying solely on shootouts is risky. So Reddick may not transform this Panthers defense into that whole, the Legion of boom up there into the 2013 Seattle Seahawks overnight, but he undoubtedly would provide that much needed spark that we need in the pass rushing room. Even without Brian Burns, a Clowney and Reddick duo, I think could usher in I think that would be an absolute sack fest. Could you imagine putting Clowney and Haason Reddick together on the same team? Right? Could you imagine that? Now, obviously, I don't think it's going to happen. If it's for somehow, some way it did, that would be nuts. But this would make a formidable pass rush if we could get the Clowney and Haason Reddick together. I think it would be a formidable pass rush that we haven't seen in years. Obviously, while this drama continues to unfold, the Panthers, we might find ourselves in a position to make that move. I just don't think that they will. And unfortunately, with the financial constraints that Haason Reddick comes with, I don't think it's going to happen either. As much as I love to continue talking about it and kind of, hyping it up a little bit, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Brian Burns situation, though. Like, if you get this guy here, you're going to have to pay him what he wants the same way Brian Burns ordeal. So as much as I would love for this to happen, I just don't see it. And it's part of me is also saying it doesn't make sense. But one could wish, right? One could definitely wish, right? Vietnam, what's up? Appreciate you joining the live stream. Austin Wright, appreciate you joining the live stream. I see you in there. Cyburn, appreciate you. PBG, I see you. Broski Bear, I see you. Chris, I see you. What's going on? Appreciate you guys. Shout out to all y'all joining the live stream. All right, let's move on, folks. All right, there's some problems at training camp. Folks. I've obviously been tuning in constantly. This team is wrestling with a few pressing issues that I want to talk about, right? Especially after that horrible loss against New England. With this total, I guess you could call it a revamped roster, there's high expectations that now come with all of this. And there's problems that still need to be addressed before this regular season kicks off. And however they do it, it needs to be done. Whether it's on waiver wires, whether they make trades, whatever they go into free agency, whatever the case may be. First things first, the tight end room has too many injuries right now, right? This tight end group is currently in disarray. And for me, it's creating more questions than answers, right? Starter Tommy Tremble has been MIA. And when I mean MIA, in full pads due to that hamstring injury. So his absence has generated considerable buzz, especially since Dave Canales has been singing his praise since he's gotten here. But no pads, no practice, no progress. You got Ian Thomas, who's supposed to be that next man up. He's sidelined with a calf injury, right? To me, that suggests that Thomas might be out until the season opener. So leaving a gaping hole in this depth chart, if the season began today, you're looking at Jadavion Sanders, our 4th round pick out of Texas, would likely be the starter. Now, am I opposed to that? No, because I think the kid's got all the potential in the world. I'm high on Jadavion Sanders. I think Jadavion Sanders has the potential to be what he wants to be, which is the next Greg Olsen. All right. But I'd rather not rush him out there. I'd rather develop him, right? He has, again, the flashes of potential is there for Jadavion Sanders, but he's still a rookie who needs to develop in my eyes. I mean, in this first preseason game, he didn't get targeted, but he did contribute with solid blocking, which I was surprised by that because when I broke down his game film and I broke him down as a player in his draft, pre-draft process, his blocking was terrible. He was a below average blocker coming out of Texas. So to see him progress there, it's great to me. It's great to see. But again, it's still an issue for me with these injuries, guys. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, and I see some of you guys in the chat right now say, well, we got Matthews, we've got Hollister, but these guys aren't franchise tight ends. These guys aren't franchise tight ends. Okay? They're just not. These guys are not two tight end ones. None of these guys that are on this team would be tight end ones anywhere else, in my opinion. They're tight end twos at best. And we got all these injuries coming off. It's an issue. That's a big problem. Right? So I just started playing. Double OK says Panther fans got to relax. We don't have a 49ers, Packers, Lions, Cowboys type Ross. Take time to build. We want time to build. We want microwave tenants. Yeah, a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience. But it isn't, guys. This is a problem. This is not like saying that I don't think our tight end room can't be good or has the potential to be at least solid. I'm talking about the injury issues here. All right. Vietnam, I played it last night too. The game again, Madden, just whatever that is, Madden, that ain't it. I'm just gonna let y'all know now, Madden 25 is ass. I'm good at Madden, but the gameplay of NCAA is so much better. So much better. So again, back to it. All right. So again, but then you get now with this tight end room, I will say Jordan Matthews, 32 years old, former wide receiver who's making that transition. He's the oldest player in the tight end room. Obviously, he made a splash in the opener, 3 receptions, 48 yards, led the team in receiving. So with the tight end position banged up, Matthews might just be a critical piece of that puzzle that I'm talking about here. However, again, I want to be clear with this. These injuries could be in for a season of rust and reduced production from this position group, which this is a position group I've been wanting the Panthers to improve so badly ever since Greg Olsen left. And it hasn't happened, right? Matt Chatter, I could talk to you for days on why I think Madden this year is just terrible. I could talk to you for days. Other concerns, okay? There's some other concerns here. Offensive line is another concern for me, okay? There's another thing. These are other problems at training camp that I'm talking about. The Panthers' offensive line is a concern for me. It's not the starters that I'm concerned with, right? Because we shelled out that whopping $153 million over the next 5 years for obviously Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, right? All right. So we as fans are expected that this investment in those two guys are going to revolutionize this whole offensive line. But there has been a little bit of early returns in the training camp, and they've kind of been a mixed bag, right? Austin Corbett shifting from the right guard to center is under scrutiny, although he's reassured fans that the move is smooth and there are lingering doubts about his transition. The tackles are familiar faces. 3rd year man, you got Ike Ekwonu on the blind side. You got veteran Taylor Moton on the right. Ike's coming off a terrible sophomore year. We're hoping for him to rebound after that under this new offense by Canales. You got Moton, who's basically been the most reliable anchor on this offensive line. So the line cohesion has been shaky in camp. Let's be honest, right? A lot of word on that. A lot of word on that out there on the Twitter handle. in the Twitter feed about the people posting up, and it's the offensive line is having issues. Now again, Lewis is missing time due to that shoulder injury. Moton taking some veteran days off. Inconsistent play from the offensive line, to me, just spells trouble again, all over again. It spells trouble all over again, especially if injuries strike. All right. These are just concerns I have, guys. All right. This is not saying that I think that the tight end room sucks ass. I'm not saying that the offensive line is ass. I'm giving you my concerns from what I'm seeing. Okay. So a healthy starting line would be a huge relief for me going into week 1. Another season of offensive line that we went through last year. These guys just could not stay healthy. It just spells trouble for Bryce Young all over again. And in this team's overall performance. Right? So, we got to hope that these guys can come back healthy, right? Right? So, Madden's Fire Club. Vietnam, I love the game. I want to play. I love playing it, but I just feel like the new one is... maybe I need to give it more time, Vietnam. I only played it for an hour or two last night, so maybe I need to play a little bit more. Bryce, Trav 24 Panther Pride, because it says Bryce has been at our near the top of the league throughout life. Bryce has been at our... He's been near the top of his league throughout his life. I see what you're saying. So he's been always in the top throughout his life. But I worry about his size. If he doesn't get hurt, he'll figure it out. Him and Canales will be great together. That's not the part I'm worried about, Trav. It's about these injuries. We need to worry about Icky's not improving. Jeff, yeah, I mean, we don't know if he's improving or not yet. Again, it's all to me is again what I'm just talking about. The problems that we're having in training camp, and that is these injuries. I just talked about the offensive line concerns, right? Which is mainly the injuries there. It's just Damian Lewis is already having a shoulder injury. Moton's taking veteran days off. So to me, that's an issue. That's why I kept saying yesterday, guys. That's why I was so hard yesterday talking about that we need to see what first team reps in these games. We need to see first team reps in these games. I need to see Bryce Young on the field in a preseason game. I need to see Austin Corbett, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, Ike Ekwonu, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and whoever the wide receiver 3 is, whether it's Mingo or Xavier Legette. I don't give a flying fuck whoever that is. I just want to see the first team players, because we don't know what we have in this team right now if we don't see them in preseason, at least for a quarter, to give us at least somewhat of an idea of what we're going into this season. Because what we saw against New England with Jack Plummer, who looked like a deer in the headlights, and you're going to tell me that you're okay with watching that? And that it was, and then we got Panthers fans saying that it was Canales' fault and the play calling was his fault. But Jack Plummer's standing back there holding on the ball, don't know what he's doing. Looks like he's waiting for an invitation to a birthday party. Get the fuck out of here for all you Panthers fans that think that. I'm sorry. I'm tired of sugarcoating it, because here's the thing. Until this team starts winning, we're all Panthers fans are going to be divided. It's either you're in between, whether you like Bryce Young or not, and that's mainly what the issue is. It's like either you like Bryce Young or you don't. Right? It's the same. It's like a Democratic Party. It's like you got the Democrat over here, you got the Republicans over here. It's like this, that's how the Panthers fans are. And then you got the guys in the middle who are just like, well, give Bryce time. if he doesn't work out, like they're trying to be patient. Like you got the people who are patient, I would say, right there in the middle, right? But there are problems. Like I don't understand. Like I get both sides to the standpoint because Bill Belichick came out and talked about like how it makes sense to Matt Chatter. I'm deleting that comment. That he feels that Bryce shouldn't be. I see it. Like Bill Belichick came out and said that the reason why he never sent Brady out there, said that on the Pat McAfee show the other day. I heard his side of the point. But for me as a Panthers fan, I need to see what we have. Like, stop babying this. Like, it's almost like they're babying Bryce Young a little bit to the point where it's like, don't put him out there yet. Like, we don't want him to get hurt. And I guess that's a perfect example with the whole, I don't know if JJ McCarthy tore his meniscus in the game or if that was at practice. So that is a concern for me, is him getting injured. But at the same time, man, I want to see what this first team looks like from a defensive standpoint and offensive standpoint. Give me a quarter at least. Give me at least a quarter of the offense and the defense. That's what I'm so frustrated about. But we got injuries in the tight end room. We got injuries in the offensive line. That's the problems are already starting in the training camp before the season started. Luckily enough, it's happening now. But how is this going to transition to week 1, week 2, week 3? Vietnam's done with Icky, Aquanu, and Moton. Yeah, I mean, I think it's too early to give up. Well, I agree with Cyburn. I'm not going to give up on Icky. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, just like I'm doing with Jonathan Mingo and Bryce and those, the guys that we're giving second chances on this team. We got to give everybody else one. What's up, Doug? Appreciate you joining, man. Appreciate you joining. 74 people watching. Make sure live goal today, guys. Live goal of 50 likes. So whether you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, wherever you're watching, come on over to the YouTube channel. If you're not on the YouTube channel, come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. That's the best way you can show your support. And it's all for free. It only takes a couple clicks. Do we seem not to have a sense of urgency again? Matt Chatter, part of me feels like there's not a sense of urgency with Canales a little bit. Like he's all happy-go-lucky. And listen, I like Canales. Like I think that we have, and I said it, and I'm still think this. I think we might have a Pete Carroll on our hands, right? I'm just ready to see these guys on the field, right? I did take the gloves off there for a second, didn't I? Risk is part of life for sure. For sure. Always, man. Ready to get home, see them boys in action tomorrow. Nice. What's up, Doug? Doug, my dude. What's good, man? Hope as well. So, I mean, guys, it's just like that. We're already got problems. And another issue we're already having in camp. That's an issue right now, right? Another issue we're having is the inside linebacker depth. That's a dilemma for me. It's still a dilemma. We already know that the center and the edge rusher and the corner rooms is already without depth, but we got to also look about the inside linebacker room depth. Shaq Thompson, right? The second longest player playing on this team. He's facing another setback now. Luckily enough, he's coming off, but his last season, he was cut short by a fibula injury. Then he was sidelined recently for that hamstring issue. And then we obviously hope to have him back by week 1. Now, obviously, he made a return, but, I don't know how much work he really got in. So that does raise some concerns with me there. I mean, luckily enough, you got Josie Jewell, who's I think was a great free agent acquisition out of Denver. He brings a lot of valuable experience. And obviously, I think he obviously meshes well with this defensive scheme. Obviously, due to the fact that he had his time with Evero there in Denver. But the real uncertainty, however, lies in the depth, right, behind these starters. Now, Claude Churlis, who spent most of the last season on injury reserve, is next on the depth chart. He had a great game against New England. I thought our defense was really the bright spot again, of course, for the Carolina Panthers against New England in that first week preseason game. But Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky showed some promise with 2 tackles in that preseason debut. He might have seemed, at this point, he might have been seemed like a reach at number 72 overall, but his performance could prove otherwise as time goes on. You continue to go down that depth chart, right? You got guys like Chandler Wooten, Tay Davis, 7th round pick Michael Barrett. Like the inside linebacker core looks thin beyond Thompson and Jewell. And if either one of those guys get injured, someone from this group has got to step up significantly to fill that void. So again, depth concerns are an issue for me again, right? The center, the inside linebacker, the tight end, the offensive line, and the corner room, and the pass rusher. Like now you look at this paper, look at this team on paper. To me, we're thin at some depth in certain position groups. Some position groups more than others, but in certain position groups, we are dealing with a lot of depth concerns for me. A lot of depth concerns. All right, going to give you some observations from yesterday's training camp. Obviously, we are preparing, as Carolina Panthers fans, we are preparing for the training camp. We're preparing for the practice with the New York Jets. So day 13 of the Carolina Panthers training camp was yesterday. Jordan Matthews made a bold statement yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw that. The tight end room, again, like we were talking about, the door's wide open there. Obviously, due to the injuries, Jordan Matthews has already seized that chance. He had 3 catches for 48 yards in that preseason game against New England. 32-year-old wide receiver, basically transitioning to the tight end position. But right now, again, like I said, you got Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas still sidelined. But he came out, Jordan Matthews came out, had some great insight, kind of just talking about how he transitioned to the wide receiver to the tight end, and how he's been able to impress the coaching staff just because of his work ethic and reliability. Dave Canales has been singing this guy's praise. I think Matthews has transformed from a bubble player, really, to a guy who does have the potential to be a roster fixture. At this point, I think that the Carolina, if they're smart, they go with 4 tight ends. And especially if a guy like Jordan Matthews continues to perform the way that he did against New England, his spot on the team seems increasingly secure to me, particularly in that tight end position, because it is thin right now, right? So I like that. I'm glad to hear about it. Think about it, Clay. Leota, Jameson were the only diamonds made under the pressure versus the Pats. Yeah, Canales knows what he's doing. He's weeding out the trash. Doug's like, stop talking to me. Talk to Clay. That's funny. How many people we got watching? 46 people watching on Twitter. Appreciate everybody over there on the Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. I call it Twitter. And then, of course, YouTube. Guys, appreciate everyone on there. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitter, it doesn't matter. please come. If you're on Twitter, please come on over to the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. Come on over here. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's the best way you can show your support. Today, of course, as always, guys, we have a live goal of 50 likes. If we reach 50 likes, then we're going to go to 100. All right, we're trying to get those likes up. All right. So some major returns though. Okay, Xavier Legette obviously was sidelined with a foot issue. All right, some of you might have not known he rejoined the practice. Obviously, he brings much needed reinforcement to that wide receiver core. Tommy Tremble did make his return yesterday. Obviously easing himself back in, obviously with that hamstring issue. And then, of course, Shaq Thompson, who had resumed his role after he an extended rehab from that leg injury. But Evero was up at the podium giving him some praise during that press conference, talking about how his transition back into the back to the field. But Thompson's return is a huge and crucial. Obviously, they're easing him back in. His leadership and playmaking it's vital for our defense, right? That's why I was talking about those concerns earlier. Like, yes, these guys are returning, but it's an issue for these guys to continue to get hurt. And another thing is guys, like, why aren't we talking about this strength and conditioning and coach and health staff? Like, are these guys just like, what are they doing? Like, why I feel like part of it has to be that. Like, why do we always end up having so many injuries? I understand that that's part of the game, but to a certain extent, right? Am I wrong to think that way? Like, I feel like we're always dealing with something when it comes to the Carolina Panthers and these rooms. Like, I think that's the reason why depth is such a big concern to me. Clay, if you need me, I'll have boots on the ground the next 2 days at practice. What's up, Doug? Yeah, I'll definitely need you. Shoot me some clips, my guy. Shoot me some clips. I can always use some clips. I normally just steal people's off of Twitter. I'm not going to lie. But I do give shout outs when I do take them. Because the last time I used them, I gave shout outs to everyone's clips. Even though I don't know if they knew that or not. Do you blame me? Probably not. Oh, well. It's not that I'm like trying to steal them from them. It's just like, I don't get to go. I can't go. I haven't had time to go. I'm going to find time to go. I know that. But yeah, with Doug, yeah, hook it up, man. Hook it up. I greatly appreciate that, brother. I would greatly appreciate that. We might have to get together on that then, Doug. We might have to talk about the next 2 days at practice while you're there. You can come on and give me some insight. Give me some clips. Anyone knows if Bryce is playing this week or not? Jeff, again, as of right now, no. Dom34 says, I know what you mean, Ross. Appreciate that, Dom. Anyone knows? As of right now, Jeff, he's not playing. It doesn't sound like Canals wants him to play this game either. I mean, he doesn't sound like he wants him to play any preseason game. Bill Belichick kind of talked about that. So, which I'll play that clip later on, but not at all. At least you showed the people you got them from some love. Yeah, of course. I gave them all a shout out to the people who are on Twitter, always posting clips. Like, I at least shout out their name on the stream. I might not post it up on the stream, but I give them a shout out. We're screwed, man. How many pancakes will our offensive line get? I don't know. Again, Dom, the none of 33 of our starters, or what was it, 33, 32 starters didn't start the last preseason game. So I don't know if we're going to see any of our starters. Jeff, I'm right there with you. I feel like this team, our starters on offense and defense need to play at least a series or a quarter for me. Both sides of the ball. I want to see what we got. Yeah, I got you, Doug. I got you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, big dog. All right, some other things to talk about. JC Horn yesterday. Obviously, this kid if he remains healthy, guys, what I'm seeing from him from training camp, he's asserting himself, I think, to a premier cornerback. Like, I know we don't have that, like, we don't have that superstar, right? I guess you could say. But this guy, but maybe you could say Derek Brown's in that superstar category. But JC Horn, to me, man, if he remains healthy the rest of this season, or if he plays 15 games this season, only misses like 2 games, not only is he going to find himself another contract, but he can also find him a Pro Bowl and a top 10 corner in this league. I really, truly believe that. Right now, he's showcasing his elite skills, and he is emerging as a defensive leader. And I am praying to God I am praying to God. I'm not kidding you. I hope that Horn remains healthy, because I know what he can do on the field. That's not the issue. I'm hoping he remains healthy, because he is locking down dudes. He's demonstrating he can be a shutdown corner. Now, again, and he's doing this against Deontay Johnson too. I've seen him do it against Deontay Johnson. And I've seen Deontay Johnson get him too. So, I've seen clips of that too. So, but it's good to see him go out there, and the trajectory that this kid is on, he's poised to become a cornerstone in this defense if he can just continue to stay healthy. That is just the thing. That is the key to this kid's success right now, is remaining healthy, because that's what he's dealt with, right? His whole career, right? So, in the regular season, how many touchdowns will our wide receivers get this year? We're going to talk about that. Damn it. My boy, JC Horn, is that dude when healthy. Yeah. Smash that like and subscribe. Appreciate that, Dom. Yeah. And so his trajectory is on the way up. I do think we need to tread carefully with him, ensuring he remains healthy, sharp leading into season opener. I honestly, the thing is with JC Horn, I think the Carolina Panthers need to take this approach. If he feels any tweak or feels something that ain't right, take him out. Don't let him play. As much as he's got that dog in him, right? He's a guy that just wants to be out there and play and play and play. He'll play, and I think he has that mentality that he wants to play until he dies, almost, right? Like that kind of dog mentality is what I'm talking about. I see that in JC. But the problem is can he remain healthy? And I'm praying to the heavens above that he does, because I wanted to see this kid, obviously being a Gamecock fan, I wanted to see this kid just succeed and be that next like Stephon Gilmore type of guy. And I think he can be. Y'all keep hitting that like button. Need to reach 50 likes. Where are we at on the likes? Where are we at on the likes? Where are we at? 25. We're halfway there. We're halfway there. I appreciate everybody in here, man. Y'all are awesome today. Today, y'all been crazy. 80 people total watching. 32 on the YouTube. 48 on the X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Y'all are awesome, man. Appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate everyone just being here. Not necessarily if you're subscribing, liking. I really appreciate that, guys. So, but if you want to do me a favor, if you're watching on Twitter, please do me the favor of just going into the link in my bio. Come on over to the YouTube channel, or just go on YouTube and type in the Ropp Star Report. Come on over, hit that like, hit that subscribe. That is the best way you can show your support, and it's all for free. It only takes 2 seconds, which means 2 clicks. Click, click, click. This is all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. All right. Don 34. Our quarterback situation is a little shaky for me as well. Just because of the fact that, Andy Dalton is not, obviously he's dealing with an injury, but for me, As long as Dalton's fine, I'm okay with it. I don't think Jack Plummer's going to make the team. He'll probably go to the practice squad. I think Jake Luton will probably make it, which he looked way better than Jack Plummer did out there. I don't know who thought. I don't know what Panthers fans thought that Jack Plummer was going to be anything worthwhile just because he had a big arm, but he's about as inaccurate as all get out. I mean, the kid can't. The kid shows flashes here and there, but he's just not. He's not ready. Not even close. Yeah. Well, Andy Dalton ain't saving a franchise. No, I'm not saying that either. So I'm not saying that either. But we're talking about a backup. So Andy will be back. We'll be fine. All right. Some other observations when I was looking on Twitter yesterday, reading articles and stuff. The offensive line right now, with that significant investment that they made this offseason, is still a work in progress. Like I was talking to you about it earlier. It's a work in progress, man. You got Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. These guys are just in a new place, new coaching staff. Damian Lewis is used to, obviously, the Dave Canales' office because of the Seattle days. Both received substantial contracts. Obviously, the expectations are high for both of these guys. The line's cohesiveness has been a bit shaky, right? Obviously, we know about Damian Lewis dealing with that injury. Moton's taking veteran day after veteran day. You got, again, like I was talking about earlier, you got Austin Corbett shifting from guard to center, which still remains under scrutiny despite all this, his assurances and Dave Canales' assurances. You can give me all the assurance you want between those two guys. Again, I need to see it on the field. And that's why I'm calling for Canales' head and Bryce Young's head and all these guys saying, give me some first team reps, right? That's what I think is an issue, right? Ike Ekwonu's have to rebound. He's trying to rebound from last season. So the inconsistent play, the injuries, that has been the biggest concern for me from the offensive line. It's all about how this unit is ready. Are they ready for week one? And to me right now, they ain't even close. And you got this joint practice coming up against the Jets. And that defense, the Jets, I'm going to tell you right now, the first team reps against the Jets joint practice is going to tell you everything you need to know. Or at least give you a good idea, general idea. Canales needs to let these guys go out in that preseason game against the Jets and get some reps. They need to go out against the next game against, is it the Bills or the Dolphins? No, it's the Bills. Against the Bills in the next preseason game and get some reps. I need to see this group gel together quickly. Not just the offensive line, but Bryce Young and these tight end groups. Bryce Young and the running backs. Bryce Young and the wide receivers. Bryce Young and the offensive line. I need to see this unit gel together before I can give you my thoughts on going into week one. I'm not going to be able to give you guys my true feeling on this team without seeing what this first team's going to be able to do against these other teams. Okay. Carolina Panther Pulse, if you think Plummer's so accurate, I would love for you to give me a good argument upon that. I'm just saying. Because I don't think anybody could give me a good argument after what I saw against. And then if you're one of those that thinks that it's the play calling, check again. Some other observations. Undrafted free agent Damani Richardson is looking the spot. I'm liking what I'm seeing from that Damani Richardson. Obviously, he's battling for a roster spot. That transition from college nickel to the pro deep safety, he had a standout day yesterday. He snagged 2 interceptions, one off of Bryce, another one off of Jack Plummer. Obviously showcasing his ball hawk skills. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Jordan Fuller alluded to him in his press conference. Richardson's performance is a ray of hope for me in that crowded secondary. Obviously, I still believe that the cornerback room needs another veteran in there. I know that the 53-man spot might be a long shot for him, but it's good to see these undrafted free agent guys come out here, make the effort, trying to earn a place on this practice team or even the practice squad, give them a chance to develop, right? So there are some critical areas that still need attention. Like I said, some key players are definitely stepping up, but we need more, unfortunately, because of the depth concerns and the injury concerns. But as of right now, we'll just have to keep watching and keep seeing what's going on. Even Eminem played. I mean, Joe Burrow. Yeah, I know. The Bears played Caleb. Exactly. Game 1. The Vikings played J.J. McCarthy. Washington played Jaden Daniels. The New England played Drake May for like a couple plays. Right? It's like I was always of the opinion that the offense would start slow and behind the defense that's in its second year under Evero. I have the same concerns, Clay, about the offense. But the Bucs offense didn't gel well until halfway into the season. Could be the same. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't know if I want to wait to mid-season because if that happens, Sideburn, then immediately everything's going to be going under scrutiny towards Dave Canales and Bryce Young, right? I don't think this team needs to be gelling mid-season. Unfortunately, with the schedule that we have, even though it's the 4th easiest, or it was like something like that, or 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL, that doesn't mean shit. Okay, in the NFL, I don't think the schedule means anything, especially for this team. Would y'all rather have? It's funny. Me and some of the people were having a talk on YouTube on one of my posts. We're talking about this question, and I'd rather have PJ Walker over Plummer, and I'd rather have Jake Luton over Plummer. Jake Luton looked better than Plummer did, and PJ Walker sure as hell could definitely do better than Plummer did. So. I just don't see Plummer. I don't see Plummer being that good. He reminds me of Ryan Mallett, Big Tex out of Arkansas, who RIP, by the way. Guy had a fucking cannon of an arm, but couldn't throw it to the broadside of a barn. That's what Jake Plummer is. That's what I see. Yeah, I'd rather have PJ Walker over both of them. But I would take Jake Luton too. But if I had to go between Luton or Plummer, I'm taking Luton all day. He looked way better back there against New England than Plummer did. Now, obviously, Jake Luton's also has more experience. But again, Plummer, I don't have time to wait around for Plummer to develop. Sorry, I just don't. All right, so who's the wide receiver that's going to lead the Panthers? All right. I think that's been part of the mission to this overhaul for the Carolina Panthers is this wide receiver room, right? This wide receiver unit, right? Bottom of the league last year. Remember, I've harped on this multiple times. Two of our wide receivers last year, DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo, were 2 of the top 2 worst separators at the wide receiver position, and that they were in the top 10 of worst wide receivers at creating separation last year. Jonathan Mingo was 2 on that list, and DJ Chark was number 10. So that's a big issue, right? Now, obviously, I'm giving Mingo a second chance here because, again, it was his rookie year. Not giving him shit about it. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? The team has certainly made waves, obviously, to get upgrades like bring in Leggett, bring in Deontay Johnson, right? The big question still remains here. Who will be that top guy, right? Right? So as that season unfolds, to me, it became clear that this team is committed to transforming this receiving game, right? The passing game, right? So they began orchestrating a trade for Deontay Johnson, which obviously who signaled their intent to bring in a dynamic playmaker, a guy who was top 10, top 5 at creating separation the past 3 years, right? But that didn't stop them. They went out, got Xavier Legette, brought these 2 additions, and the room looks a lot better on paper, right? To me, it's still a work in progress, though. But who will rise as that leading wide receiver room? Who is going to be Bryce Young's go-to target? To me, it's going to be Deontay Johnson. Okay? I think Deontay Johnson is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver or so, right? Like if we're talking, receptions, targets, and all that, I could see him getting like 127 targets, probably something around like 82. We'll go 75 receptions, 1,000 yards, and I would say over 1,000 and probably like 6 touchdowns. Like he's going to be a guy who's going to go and get it. Then you got Thielen, who's still Mr. Reliable. I still believe in him. What I'm seeing, I could see him being 100+ targets, somewhere around the same reception range, maybe 72, 75 receptions. But I think the yardage is going to be a little bit less, right? I think it's going to be somewhere around the 700 yards range, probably somewhere around 5 touchdowns, 4 or 5 touchdowns. Then I see Xavier Legette, honestly. I see Xavier Legette taking that wide receiver 3 position. I think Mingo could be it, but right now I still got Legette there. I think Legette is better, at least from what I'm seeing. I think he's going to be around that 75, 80 target range, probably get about 45 to 50 receptions, somewhere around there. I could see him getting around 600+ yards, 3 touchdowns, and that'd be a good rookie season. I don't think he's going to be that true number 1 wide receiver immediately out the gate, right? Yeah, Carolina Polls, I do have time for him because I didn't heavily invest in Jack Plummer. So make that make sense. I didn't heavily invest in him. A Keebler elf. I don't even know what a Keebler elf is. Sounds like something you might have made up, or maybe it's like your imaginary friend, Broski Bear. I don't know. Damn, Broski's coming in and just trolling today. I got the Panthers at 7 wins. Yeah. I got him at 6, Cyber. I got him at 6. Damn. Broski, tell us how you really feel about Legette. Jeez, Lou. Jonathan Mingo, I probably see around 45, 50 receptions. I'd see around 30 or 50, 40, 50 targets. I should say. And I would say probably around 30 receptions. He probably gets like another 400 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns. Then after that, I have no idea, right? I don't know who's going to be on this roster after those 4 guys, really. Probably Amir Smith-Marset, which makes it 5. And then after that, we'll see if they keep 6 or if they just stick with 5. And the 5th person may be David Moore or it's Amir Smith-Marset. But I think I'll be surprised if Amir Smith-Marset's not on this roster. I think they'll end up keeping 6 wide receivers. I really do. But Deontay Johnson's obviously set to be that key player, get a substantial number of targets expected to. Obviously, I think he's going to lead the team both in receptions and touchdowns. I think Thielen, even though being slightly older, just because of him being so reliable, him showcasing his veteran presence, I still see him being wide receiver 2. Legette, I think it has all the potential in the world because of the size, the speed, the 50-50 ball getter, someone who's physical, right? A physical pass catcher. So I think he's projected to make a significant impact, but is expected to play more of a supporting role initially, especially depending on if Jonathan Mingo can obviously turn it around. I think all Panthers fans would undoubtedly love to see Legette, though, exceed at least Thielen's production Like if you go and look like Adam Thielen's rookie year production, you hope that Leggett exceeds that, right? That's what you would want. Now that's a tall order, but you want to build chemistry with a new quarterback, and that often takes time. And while Johnson, I think Johnson definitely appears to have that head start in that area. I think Leggett's potential cannot be overlooked. I think a lot of people are overlooking his potential. So it's going to be fascinating to see if any of these receivers can break away, really kind of solidify themselves, maybe be a primary target. Who knows, right? Hopefully it's everybody's getting a chance to eat, right? So there's a lot of, the problem is with the whole Carolina Panthers is there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of promise, and that's not just in the wide receiver room, but anyone at this point can guess, right? Anyone at this point can guess who's going to step up and who's going to be that guy, right? So Caroline Poltz. All I'm saying is I don't think he's accurate enough. I'm not saying that he can't develop. I'm just saying I'd rather have Jake Luton because of Andy Dalton's injury. That's all I'm saying. We keep it 6 receivers, yeah, for sure. Broski, you're lucky I'm in a good mood today. Mingo equals need separation. Correct. He's got to show better that he can create separation, because last year was atrocious. It was atrocious. His first, and when Mingo, you want to hear another fun fact? You can go look it up yourself. Mingo last year, when he was the first route read for Bryce Young, he was only open 25% of the time. That's bad. When you're the first route read, you need to be around the 40s to 50 range. More separation charts. Yeah, I can find them all day. That's not an issue. That is not an issue. So, well, guys, I appreciate everyone joining today. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Of course, we are hour 17 minutes in, so I'm kind of going over time here, but live goal 50 likes. I would appreciate you guys if you could pound that like button 50 times. Okay. Whether you're watching on Twitter, whether you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, you need to come over to the YouTube channel. Why is this playing? I hate these ads. I hate ads. I hate YouTube's ads. I hate them. Yes, I make money off of them, but they are just terrible. They're terrible. Barely make any money. Making maybe a cent off an ad, but Caleb is overrated. Godly. Oh, before I hop off though, before everybody goes away, don't go anywhere yet. Don't forget tonight. Okay. Look. Let me share my screen real quick before everybody goes. Let's see. Here we go. Before everyone goes, make sure you guys go check out the NFC South Roundtable. Okay? Look, we got a live stream tonight in 3 hours. 3 hours at 7 p.m. EST. Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints, and Panthers. We're going to be doing our NFC South Roundtable Week 1 preseason takeaways. Okay? Week 1 preseason takeaways. And, yeah. So to make sure y'all go check it out, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat here. Go ahead and put that link in the chat. So there's the link in the chat, guys, for you guys to go to. Make sure if you're a Panthers fan, come show your support, or at least just come show me your support if you guys are here. Guys, whether you're watching, if you're watching on Twitter, please do me the biggest favor and come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you pound that like button and hit the subscribe button. 2 clicks away, takes 2 seconds, and that's all I ask. So we're So make sure y'all come check it out. All right. All right. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to hop off now. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all know what to do. Be safe. God bless. Keep pounding. Peace.